Stranded on a deserted island, you've got a lot to handle. Sourcing food, finding water, building a shelter, making fire, and signaling for help. Sounds impossible for one person, right? Life would be much easier if you had a survival buddy. But what if that friend is totally useless, like Wilson in Castaway? You'd be far better off befriending a drone. In this series, we'll unravel the tech that makes it into the ideal survival ally and explain how it helps in real life. Signaling for help demands physical effort in harsh conditions where you're already low on food, water, and energy. Besides, you constantly have to maintain your signals, since you never know if someone passes by. Turning it into a mental showdown, tougher than spending your day talking to a volleyball. Can you imagine how much easier this would be with a drone? So if you wanted to use a drone to find a place where you could signal for help, what would you do first?
I would map the topography of the area, and I would try to find a place that has a very good viewpoint. You know, if there is a boat coming, I would like to be able to see, and I would like to be seen.
So let me show you how to use this drone to find an elevated spot from where we can see the entire horizon.
To map the topography, we have a couple of options. The first is called photogrammetry.
So with drone, we take images with an overlap, and when we stitch them all together, we can create a very detailed 3D representation of the terrain.
The method relies on two crucial pieces of information: the GPS location where each photo was taken and the drone's altitude at that moment. With enough overlapping photos, photogrammetry software compares the images, identifies shared features, and triangulates their position in space, making it into a 3D reconstruction built entirely from photos.
It's like our eyes, because there are two and we see each object from slightly different perspective, we have the sense of depth.
We refer to these 3D reconstructions as digital surface models. These models represent the topography of the Earth's surface, including all objects on it, and are often used for modeling water flow or drainage, like in flood risk assessments.
Because you know how the streams would go in the landscape. Yes, because you know what are the most dangerous points for floods.
And these models are used in planning too.
It's when it comes to planning, you want to build a house or a dam or a lot of structures that are important for humans, then the topography is quite critical. And even hazards like landslides, for example, they are based. You know, the prediction, the modeling is based on the topography.
There are several prerequisites for using photogrammetry for mapping the topography successfully, though. First is proper weather conditions. Photogrammetry relies heavily on good lighting, making it weather-dependent. Secondly, it requires textured surfaces with enough unique features. Photogrammetry can struggle with smooth, uniform surfaces, like uniform grasslands or continuous flat, sandy areas or floors. When there are no distinct patterns or features for the software to recognize, it cannot stitch multiple images together. But forests can also pose a challenge for the opposite reason. Leaves and branches are highly textured and often move between image acquisitions. In such a setting, photogrammetric processing cannot identify common tie points between images. In winter, this issue is less pronounced due to the absence of foliage. An alternative method would be LiDAR, which offers high accuracy even in darkness or through dense vegetation. LiDAR works by sending out laser pulses that bounce off the ground and return to the sensor. Usually these pulses travel at the speed of light. But let's make the math simple and assume the pulse travels at 14 meters per second. The key measurement is how long it takes for the pulse to complete that round trip. Let's say, for example, it takes 3 seconds for the pulse to go out and come back. A pulse that took 3 seconds to complete a round trip at a speed of 14 meters per second has therefore traveled 42 meters, which is twice the distance between the drone and the ground, meaning the distance between the drone and the ground is 21 meters. It repeats this process as it flies over an area, recording a point cloud that indicates the exact height at each point. Unlike photogrammetry, LiDAR doesn't give you just a digital surface model. It penetrates through vegetation, providing multiple returns. In a forest stand, the first return will be from the top of the canopy and the last will be from the ground. Intermediate returns of the LiDAR laser beams are able to provide useful information about the forest understory, such as shrubs, and overall forest structure. These forest metrics are also extremely useful to estimate forest biomass and carbon sequestration that is linked to greenhouse gases and climate change mitigation. Whether you opt for photogrammetry or LiDAR depends on your needs, budget, setting, and whether you care more about realism or raw precision. LiDAR is faster and more precise than photogrammetry, especially for large-scale or natural environments. Still, photogrammetry is ideal for visually rich projects or smaller areas, like deserted islands. Speaking of which, how's Florian doing in his search for the perfect spot to signal for help?
Because I'm in the Netherlands and it's very hard to find a hill, I actually found a quite tall building here. So that's probably what I'm going to climb to signal for help.
Oh, don't worry about it. We trust your judgment, but we also care about your safety.